Hello and welcome to LA101, the brand new discussion show here on LA1 TV at Lancaster University. Today in episode 2, and we're joined by Johnny again,
Hi.
Henry and Tom.
Hello.
And we're going to be discussing some topical events from the past week or so, as well as some more niche, topical, sort of fun, quirky stories. So straight into things. It was Remembrance Day during the past week. Did any of you guys go to the Alex Square parade? Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, wonderful service, wonderful atmosphere and occasion. Certainly captured the spirit of what Remembrance Sunday should be about. I thought it was a terrific event organised by the university, and it was great that so many people turned up in the masses.
Yeah. Did any of you guys go to it, or did you hear about it? I see it on Facebook or anything like that?
I didn't actually hear about it. It would have been something I was probably quite interested in. I noticed that this year, like I was wearing a poppy, but a lot of people haven't. Now they're becoming more of a controversial subject matter, aren't they? So, which I don't think is necessarily right.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. Well, here's a video here from Lancaster City Centre. This was the parade that they had on, which I thought was quite nice.
Yeah, I think it's a nice touch, obviously, to try and respect and obviously remember. It's very important to remember what happened.
Yeah.
Although I went home this weekend, in and around there I saw quite a few complaints about people in cars trying to, or sort of honking their horns at the parades, which I thought it's actually quite disrespectful because they're presumably trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
But you know, no harm in trying to find a new way to wherever you're going.
Well, I've got a few little questions to ask you guys about the poppy in particular. Obviously, this is a big political symbol, and we aren't going to touch on the sporting side of things that's been happening with FIFA because, you know, that's a whole different debate. But in terms of the poppy itself, obviously there's the red poppy, which signifies a lasting memorial to those who died in World War I and later conflicts, and that's associated with the Royal British Legion. Did you guys know what the white poppy is symbolic of? No? Any ideas?
No idea.
Absolutely no clue.
Well, the white poppy is launched in 2006, and it remembers those who've died in conflict while emphasising lasting commitment to peace, which is in association with the Peace Pledge Union. So obviously a nice little touch there, thinking about going ahead for the future in terms of peace and things like that and global conflict. But obviously with Corbyn here a few weeks ago talking about peace, it's a rather nice touch to reflect upon. Purple poppy, any idea what that is? I hadn't heard about this one at all.
Royalty.
No, it's actually worn by those who want to remember the animal victims of war. Obviously, we always think of the human conflict, but
fair enough. Yeah.
the emphasis on animals.
Remember.
And there's the black poppy, which remembers the African, Black, and Caribbean communities who contributed to the war effort, which is in association with Black Poppy Rose. So it's multiple different ways of looking at it as well. In terms of we see this red poppy and we think of Remembrance Day, but there are a lot of other things that people want to remember in terms of from that, in terms of war. So nice touch in terms of different things.
Yeah, I quite fancy having all the poppies on one.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
And then you can explain to everyone what they mean, and they'll be like, "Oh, cool."
Do you guys know why it's on the left-hand side as opposed to the right, traditionally?
No.
No?
No idea.
No
It's
clue.
to do with being close to your heart,
Yeah.
and it's also where the war medals are displayed for veterans. So nice touch again.
Of course.
Let's move on to a bit more of a nice topic and a bit more of a look into the future. In a few couple of weeks, I say a couple of weeks, Christmas is coming up. And after bonfire night and Halloween and everything, people seem to think, oh, it's Christmas now. And it's a bit too early, do you not think, for all these Christmas adverts and John Lewis adverts and stuff already out?
Well, we know you're a Grinch, but certainly I think that the John Lewis advert this year, as opposed to other years, has not been quite as good. I swear that dog is CGI, and I will still put that point out there that dogs don't smile and jump up and down on trampolines. So I will be writing a letter of... No, I'm not going to do that.
Nor do badgers, squirrels,
exactly.
foxes.
All the use of CGI. And, I mean, it worked for the penguins. I mean, I love the penguins one. Was it Monty the penguin? Was it Monty the penguin?
Yeah, I think
I think his name. Yeah, I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was just... I think that came out at the same time as the Sainsbury's War Christmas advert, which in itself, I think that was about 4 minutes long. That was also very, very well created. But yeah, they've done so many good adverts with John Lewis, and this year it's
Spent
it's
millions
not
on
been
it as well.
as
They spent
yeah 7 million altogether.
yeah, it's
wasn't it?
£1 million pounds to make the advert, and then £6 million is spent on sort of the slots, the commercial
Yeah.
slots to put the advertisements in. Obviously, they want Prime
Yeah.
to make the money back on 7 million. They want a lot of
It's such a big industry now, though, like
Yeah.
adverts and stuff. Like, I remember seeing a program last year just solely on like John Lewis making the advert,
Yeah.
and it was it's just crazy. The
They
amount
put lots of
time
effort
They
into
probably-
it.
Yeah,
They really
so-
do.
yeah.
It
They
probably
really
comes to
do.
the 31st of December and they go, right guys, new year, new Christmas adverts.
Yeah,
get one.
Well,
literally,
yeah,
there'll be
yeah.
people that jobs will there will be that.
Yeah.
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 It's ridiculous. I mean, it's the 15th of November right now.
Yeah.
It's not Christmas time.
Yeah, but people.
And yet everyone's talking about Christmas adverts. I saw on Snapchat someone's story was Christmas in flat 1. It's not Christmas yet.
Christmas.
I don't want to sound like a Grinch. I love Christmas as much as the next person, but
Yeah,
it's
but it's
not
a sense
quite
of
ready.
happiness. I think we should all embrace a sense of happiness in
yeah.
times when people are so miserable.
Yeah.
Is there too much emphasis on now on consumerism and stuff with going out and right November, Christmas, go and buy stuff? Is it a bit too early? I mean,
Well, it means you don't have to buy them in December, doesn't it? So no.
You got Black
The-
Friday.
Black
as
Friday,
well.
about to say Black Friday,
big
Cyber
Christmas
Monday.
shopping.
well,
Times.
Amazon has already started their Black Friday, and it's a
Yeah.
few weeks away yet. So
I mean, certainly consumerism is too much of an issue now. Like, it's bad. Like we're becoming a society that is very consumer based, and it maybe does take away from the true meaning of Christmas. But
Yeah.
I mean, if people still, buying presents for their loved ones in good spirits,
Yeah.
to give, it's not too much wrong with it.
yeah.
No.
Okay, we'll move on from that point. With Christmas around the corner though, and here's a one for you. Technology. We talked a lot about it last week, and there's going to be a lot of talk about it this week because there's been a lot of developments and things that have been reported on this week, which could signal big change in the technology industry. Do you guys know I'll give you an answer there. Which social media company has made some glasses which are going to be used for
Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Snapchat, really.
Who'd have guessed?
They'll be coming up on here soon. There they are. They're called Snapchat Spectacles. They're made by Snap Inc., which is the company who's sort of
Snapping.
made Snapchat. And they're going to be available they're only available through these little vending machines, which are going to pop up around America. I'm not sure if it's going to go global or anything like that, but they're going to pop up in these little vending machines, and they're there for a limited time, just like a Snapchat, and then they disappear, and you can only get them from these vending machines.
Well, what's the point in wearing Snapchat spectacles?
Here they go. Here's a little vending
But-
machine. What are your thoughts on that?
So they have a limit. Do they have a limited amount of use,
Limited amount of
like snaps, or can you keep them indefinitely?
the glasses you can keep, but the actual vending machines you can buy them from are disappearing
okay.
from that. So they appear in one location and they disappear.
So you'll stand out quite a lot if you wear one of those, I presume. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine them catching on as a
No.
top fashion item.
No.
Well, that's the thing that Snapchat have said they don't want it to be a fashion item. That's why they've done it exclusively from these zones. They want people who are genuinely interested to go out and actively get them, as opposed to being overwhelmed with them in shops and stuff. They're not going to be on general sale. They haven't sent them to YouTubers or anything like that to do previews on. They're literally strictly just for that. They cost $129, which is
What?
quite expensive.
What?
The app's free.
Yeah, $129.
To look like a goon? 100 oh my days. I think there's a reason why YouTubers aren't promoting these things. And it's not because...
But they are appearing on eBay already at about $800. So
800. Well.
Well,
People-
I think I will actively go out and buy them for 100.
and just sell them
Yeah.
for
800.
800% profit or something. But yeah, they hope it will make curiosity and exclusivity help spectacles become a fashion. Sorry, they won't make it become a fashion accessory. So yeah, it's similar to, if you've ever heard of OnePlus, it's a phone company. When they first started out, they were exclusively invite only, and then they've become a massive global brand now, selling phones across the world. They've now partnered with, I think it's O2 or Carphone Warehouse, something like that. So yeah, in terms of inviting and getting this interest from just, friends or family and stuff, and spreading it like that, maybe that's a better way of going about things, as opposed to, like we said before with John Lewis and stuff, than just actively going out in people's faces saying buy this product, buy this product. What do you think of that, Tom?
As in, sort of targeting a specific audience.
Yeah, in terms of saying, if you want this product, come to us. We're not going to push it out.
I mean, yeah, I suppose it is a it's quite a good premise. I mean, you'll get the people that are dedicated for the product, and maybe it is. Then it will be more moral, because I mean, people argue that advertising can be a bit immoral. Like you're sucking in all these people that don't particularly want to buy the product. So, I mean, I don't know how much commercial sense it'd make for some of those companies, but it's probably more moral. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're also hoping that it's going to encourage people to adopt this new format that they've got, a circular video. And what happens is you record the video on these glasses and send it to your smartphone. So they're hoping that's going to push out in terms of the hardware and the software side of things.
If they achieve the success with it, then it's the next big thing, isn't it? Yeah. So there is a lot of potential there, but whether it will take off is a different matter.
Speaking of take off, there's been an airline pilot called Bruno Gillerson did a Q&A on Quora, so like a Q&A website, in the past week, and the most turbulent area on an aeroplane. Have you got any ideas where that might be? Most turbulent area.
The cockpit.
The back.
Suggestion?
The middle.
Middle. There's an image coming up now of a plane. Some people sat on a plane. So if you was going to go on a holiday and you were sat on this plane and you were waiting to get on and you got your tickets and you didn't like turbulence,
you wouldn't be happy.
Well, Gillerson says he's amazed at how many fellow pilots answer the question wrong. And he explains that the zones in the front of the plane are ahead of the centre of gravity, which is somewhere between the wings and the front section. So sort of in the front of the plane. The back of the plane is the worst section because it's trying to keep up with the centre of gravity the most. So if you hate turbulence, try and get a seat at the front of the plane, because the back of the plane is the worst place to sit.
Front of the plane tends to be first class, though. That's a bit of a problem, but if you can get up there, then go for it.
I'm not a big fan of turbulence myself, so I will be trying to get in front of the plane seats, yeah.
Well, I think if you feign a phobia of turbulence, then sipping champagne in first class.
There you go.
Sounds great. And next time you're getting on your plane, there might be a new revelation in technology in terms of transport, aeroplanes. There's been a suitcase which has been designed. It's called TravelMate, and it's a suitcase which moves by itself.
Ooh.
And it follows you around the airport.
Oh, that's good. I like this one. This is yeah.
Couldn't two different? So if say two people had this and they were walking along, would they not? They would just crash into each other, wouldn't they? If they were crossing paths.
I'm sure they'd have. I'd hope they'd have sensors. So then
it has sensors. It has GPS and stuff like that. It can follow you. You have an app on your phone, so it knows where you are at all times. And if someone tries to steal you, it even tries to get back to you and escape from the person who stole you.
That sounds
Does it stop on the edge of the road, like if there's a traffic light?
It has sensors, so I assume it knows.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? That is
what's where.
That is cool. That is good.
I think crossing the road, or any time you're in a rush, I think that'll be a bit of an issue because obviously you use a suitcase when you're getting the plane.
Yeah.
So if you're late to the airport and you're running down, you've got your suitcase.
You're going at 2 miles an hour.
All you need is someone to intercept it.
It can travel up to 6.75 miles per hour.
Could it then be also? It could be a safety hazard, surely, like knock over little kids and stuff.
Oh, forget the little kids.
It's only small.
If you're
it's all
running
about
with your
accessibility.
suitcase and you get to your plane, you turn around. Where's it? You've got to go all the way back through the airport.
No, but it knows where you are. It follows you through.
It's like a dog, essentially.
If you're in a rush for your flight, I think that could be.
You don't have to feed it. So
I think they need to stick a couple more.
It can
superchargers on that.
It can navigate obstacles, crowds. It's not yet in shops, but it's available for pre-order at £319.
It can navigate obstacles. So that means if there was like a step, it could jump up the steps.
No, I don't think you can go upstairs.
No.
It'd be like a Dalek, like it's
hover.
It's probably
hover. Now, if it did that,
that
would,
modern Daleks can go upstairs.
That would be pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. Wow.
It also says it will double as your travel partner, and you can even name it if you want to.
Name it?
You can name it.
Name it. What would you call yours?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I think there's more fashionable names than that.
Sooty, or something.
Sooty
the suitcase.
Well, it would be about $300 cheaper to just find someone to go on holiday with you.
Yeah. How much is it? How much is it going for?
£319 on pre-order. $399.
It
works a similar way to autopilot systems that's used in vehicles like Tesla cars. And it uses it finds the best route using GPS. And it can also attach to other suitcases. So if you have multiple suitcases, you don't want to buy 2 of these because they're quite expensive. You can attach it to another suitcase and it'll push it along for you.
See, that's quite cool, isn't
That
it?
is quite
That is
cool.
quite cool.
I like that.
Mm.
Yeah, they've spokesman for the company said, "We've made a robot that can learn on the fly in real time, navigate complicated obstacles, and even become something that you trust and have affection for." I'm not sure about the affection.
Affection, no.
It's a suitcase.
Suited the
I think
suitcase. I think
that's a bit of a-
yeah.
It's the modern world, though, you know.
Yeah.
These
2016.
Yeah.
Anything goes.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
they have thought of more practical uses as well in terms of, no, obviously it's practical, but in terms of more beneficial, so to speak, that you can attach things like health monitoring devices or IV bags, which make patients easier to move around the hospital. So it has got applications in terms of the, not just travel, but in terms of health and stuff like that. So it could be quite interesting to see future
I
developments.
like that idea. It's the first one on this show I think I actually like the idea of.
Mm.
Really cool.
Even in disaster areas or emergency situations, it can act as a mobile laboratory for local relief efforts.
That's good.
So it's
I think that would be useful.
Great in thinking of other applications for it. Just a little one for you, like a little, sounds like a riddle, but not a riddle. So 2 twin boys can stake a claim for being the eldest sibling, but how? Samuel and Ronan were born on Sunday, November 6th, to parents Emily and Seth Peterson, and they arrived at Cape Cod Hospital in Massachusetts. One of them was born at 1:39, and one of them arrived 31 minutes later. So
The
surely the
clocks went
first one
back.
is
Clocks went back.
So yeah, by the time the second one had been given birth, the clocks had gone back due to America's daylight saving time. So just a little nice little. I thought I've read that and thought I found that interesting.
It is quite.
But
That-
I think rivalry, weren't they, between the
was it?
siblings? For
I
the rest
think
of their
I think the
lives.
one who was born when the clocks went back could actually quite comfortably argue that they are older.
It's a bit of a paradox, that though, isn't it? Because he
It's
didn't come out
strange.
first.
It's
So,
strange, but when you say what time,
Yeah.
I would disagree. I think the one that
came
came first, even
Depends how you
though
define time, though. Depends
Yeah.
if you're defining it as how much you've been alive,
who's
like,
been alive longer,
or who was born
who's born when.
in the earliest time. So
I know
It's a paradox.
That is going to be
That
the
was just a
court.
funny
I
one.
wouldn't like to be
Yeah.
their parents in.
I mean,
10
that's going to
years'
keep
time.
that's going to keep me up
Yeah.
at night pondering that question. It's one of those.
quite a lot of
Then
argument
we've
over that.
got. Here's one for you. Which animal broke through a window this week to escape a American Eagle Outfitters store in Oklahoma?
Tortoise.
Tortoise.
Tortoise, really?
Okay.
No, that.
A rabbit.
A rabbit.
I like cats, so I'll just go with cats. Cat.
No, it's none of them. There's a video. Should be coming up in a moment. Here we go. It's actually
Wow.
a deer.
Dear. Oh dear, that would have hurt.
So apparently there was no other way out of the store. I'm not sure why. How they did get in there,
How did it get in? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And smashed through the window.
Smuggled.
Like a
Gold.
preview for Black Friday.
Very, very.
Yeah, that deer
very
acts as a
true.
metaphor.
Trying to get into the American Outfitters store. But
Mm.
with that, I'm not sure if like how it got in there at all. Why people were like just there, like with a deer inside the store.
No one. Doesn't seem to be anyone around.
Yeah.
I mean, if I saw
A deer.
a deer in Next, I think I'd say something about it.
Yeah. It's like wasps and bees though. They're never gonna learn that there's a glass pane there. Like just that stopping them that bit. I
Well,
don't know, maybe
yeah.
they didn't know there's a glass. Oh.
Yeah,
probably
but
there was
wasps
glass
and
there.
bees don't smash through a window, do they?
Well,
So,
I don't think they're big
mean,
enough to do that.
No.
I think if
it's-
bees had antlers like that, I think they'd give it a go.
They give it a yeah.
Imagine just a bee with
Nifty.
massive antlers on.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one for you. What animal was found in a woman's bag? She was a criminal. She was arrested, and an animal was found inside her bag.
A hippo.
A hippo. So you've gone for what was breaking a window? You said
Tortoise.
a tortoise, and now a hippo has been found.
A newly born.
A newly born hippo.
Yes.
Could be pygmy hippo.
What are you gonna say?
I'm thinking a
Um,
hedgehog.
Hedgehog.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
What are you gonna say?
I don't know. A ferret.
A ferret. There's actually a koala.
Koala.
So I wasn't far off then.
You
Yeah.
were quite far.
Yeah, you were quite far.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
so
it's an animal.
when officers detained a wanted woman in Brisbane, Australia on Sunday, they found out she was having a koala in a canvas bag. It was a 50-year-old woman, and the koala was believed to be about 6 months of age and very good health. and he's been named Alfred by the police department.
Alfred.
Is the koala related to the crime?
Oh, well, we don't know. Maybe.
You'll just see the prints of the
Crime
koala.
watch.
Yeah.
Koala watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might see Alfred behind bars soon and uncover the truth.
It'd be on the next John Lewis advert. The koala bear.
Bouncing on a trampoline. No, it'll be
No.
in prison.
It'll be deers and koalas
Dear.
with a travel mate suitcase.
Well, you've got
Suited a
deers
suitcase.
breaking windows and koalas being an accessory to a crime. It's
You'll have the koala coming in the Snapchat glasses on, and the deer being followed by the suitcase.
and you've
that's
got
it.
normal
Come to John
wildlife
Lewis.
trespassing in gardens, going on
Mm.
other people's trampolines.
Mm.
It's a scary time to be a human being.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, here's another topic. In terms of drinking during the day,
Mm.
according to YouGov research, 60% of the public now feel that the offer of a beverage with friends or colleagues should be a resounding no, even when accompanied with a meal. By comparison, only 32% think that a pint on your lunch break is okay.
Mm.
Thoughts on that? As students?
As students, I'm always going to be an advocate of drinking during the day, but I think if you're eating, if you're eating, as long as you don't sit there and have 5 and then go back to work. But
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, the allowance for a week is, I can't remember. It's not that many. I mean, if you had a drink during the day every day and then something in the evening, you'd be above your weekly allowance or recommended weekly allowance. So I think nothing wrong with it once in a while, but I wouldn't make it a daily habit.
Mm.
Yeah.
In my opinion, if you don't drink too much and you don't die and you don't make a nuisance, go with it.
Tom, what are your thoughts? YouGov has said that men are more likely to consider lunchtime drink acceptable than women.
Yeah.
However, more men as a whole, in terms of as a collective body,
Mm-hmm.
the majority of men still thought it was unacceptable. So
It's interesting. I think that I'd say that fair enough with a meal, but if you are just drinking for the sake of drinking, it's not really beneficial for a society if everyone in the day is just drinking. They walk out drunk. You know, you're in the middle of the road as kids. You know, it's not like it needs to be in moderation.
Yeah.
Mm.
According to YouGov research, groups more accepting of boozing at lunch were younger generations, those aged 18 to 24, are more likely to drink. Say it's okay.
That's
46%
unexpected,
to
I suppose.
no,
Yeah.
Only 25% of over 65s think that it's okay.
Different eras though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Different generations.
Oh, I don't know. I think you get quite a few. Well, certainly members of the older generation who've got a bit of money. They're happy to go to a pub at lunch or in the afternoon on any day.
Mm.
A nice glass of wine.
I think it's different when you're retired though, isn't it, to when you're working.
Yeah.
The responsibilities are far less.
Yeah. And most people, 65%, think you should wait until 6 p.m, which seems reasonable.
Yeah.
6 p.m. is G&T time, as I've learnt from my parents.
Nothing wrong with a gin and tonic.
Experiences with your roads, where you're from? Like, have you ever had like massive potholes in your roads, or dodgy speed bumps, anything like that? Any bad experiences?
I've seen it happen. They put a speed bump on the drive for my old school, and there was one parent whose father, so a student's grandfather, bought a share in Candy Crush, sold it for £400 million, and his son, so the student's father, bought a Lamborghini Aventador, and he revved it up on the drive, attempted to go over the speed bump and scraped the entire bottom of the car, and it was green as well, so very understated.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it brought a smile to my face and many other people's faces, but
Not his.
it is quite a high speed bump, to be fair. So
a lot of people do sort of complain about local councils and stuff in terms of big potholes appearing and not being filled. But Japan, this was over the last week or so, there was a giant sinkhole. It was 30 metres wide and 15 metres deep.
Ridiculous.
And they fixed it in 2 days.
2 days?
2 days. After 2 days, the 5-lane street was completely reopened. Also, they fixed the electricity, gas, water lines, everything. And that 2-day period or 3-day period, included a delay for health and safety checks. So very impressive
I
stuff.
feel many other countries do put us to shame. I feel we seem to when certain things happen, we seem to be a bit slow in reacting.
Wholly impressive.
No, it wasn't.
But yeah, it's incredible. 2 days.
2 days.
And I've not got a picture on here, but I've seen the picture.
It's bad.
Very, very big. Like I could say 30 meters wide, 50 meters deep.
Well,
Yeah.
usually here, if they want to fill a pothole, you've got the road closures from 2015 to 2018.
Yeah.
Well, that's just daily life ruined, but 2 days is quite impressive.
Yeah, I think we're all echoing what Tom says, aren't we? I think we are quite lazy in dealing with our own issues, and they do make a mess, don't they? They look awful. So, can the people please step it up and fill those holes?
Yeah. I think the next topic of discussion is the gingerbread house. I'm sure I'll be corrected if I'm wrong on that one, but yeah, gingerbread house. Here you go. It's a model of Waddesdon Manor in Buckinghamshire. The Biscuit Architects, which is what they've been called, it took 500 hours to make. 6 foot tall, 1.5 metres long, almost as big as that sinkhole. 240 eggs, 216 kilograms of icing and 30 kilograms of sugar. And it even includes miniature porcelain plates and chandeliers.
Wow, dedication.
Art form or just ridiculous food stuff?
Art form, I think, certainly. Judging on the picture which we've just seen, it looks very impressive. Are they eating it or are they keeping it up?
I assume it's going to be... I'm not sure actually, it might be raw. Or it might just slowly
Yeah. It loses.
I'm not sure what's going to be done with it.
It's cool,
maybe
isn't it?
Maybe have some kind of coating on it or something.
I'd eat it. I don't see it as an art form in the way that you talk about normal art. I mean, it is. It looks cool.
Abstract art.
But at the end of the day, I think if you're calling yourself a biscuit architect, I think you've taken a strange turning in your career.
At the end of the day, it is food still.
Aston Blumenthal does strange things with food, doesn't he?
Oh, I do think it's very impressive though.
But that's why I wouldn't ask Heston Blumenthal to make me a bacon sandwich, because at the end of the day, I don't think he'd make me one.
Very true.
Yeah, okay. So in terms of sweet treats, I think that the next talking point, and the script's gone a bit funny, but I think it's going to be on McDonald's new product. Now, don't put the picture on yet. If you already put it on, it's fine. McDonald's new product, and have you got any ideas what it could be? Speaking of sweet stuff.
Toffee flavoured
Chicken nuggets.
chips.
You're not far off, to be honest. You're along
chips.
the right lines.
Toffee flavoured chips.
No, it's actually a Nutella burger.
Oh, God.
Here it is.
Oh.
It's only available in Italy. It's called Sweetie con Nutella. Nutella is from Italy originally. So yeah, in a Facebook announcement, they described customers and they told them that it was soft sweetness has arrived that you will not be able to resist.
Oh, I would. It looks awful, and surely
Really?
you don't.
I don't think it looks that bad.
No, Tom, it does look bad, and I think certainly you
Maybe
wouldn't.
from my angle, it's not.
You wouldn't want.
You could make it yourself though.
That's like having ice cream with chips. You just don't do it, do you?
Ice cream. I used to dip my chips in milkshake.
Well, you're an
Wait,
idiot.
what?
Yeah, have you never done
Yeah.
that before? Have you done
No.
that?
Dip
no.
your chips in milkshake.
The McDonald's chips in milkshake.
To be fair, both are not like the milkshake at McDonald's is very good, but I wouldn't dip my chips in.
And also, my
No.
dad's friend used to eat ice cream with mustard.
Oh, goodness.
Straight.
Mustard's bad enough by itself, but with ice cream, you're ruining something that's
No, but
nice.
But surely you could make this yourself. It's a brioche-style bun filled with chocolate and hazelnut spread. You could make that
But
yourself.
that's just
Yeah,
something you find
you
at a
can-
bakery. There's nothing.
You
It's
can
not
make
that
that nicer.
bad,
I
is
think you
it?
can make a nicer one at home. But I think either way, I think it's a heart attack on a plate. So
Couldn't have put it better
if you're
myself.
willing to have,
You wanted to eat the palace that are made out of...
Yeah, but the palace is different because it's
you've
well
not had 20
made,
chicken
Yeah.
nuggets
and you've not had
beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. You can't have that with chips. It just doesn't work.
Well, maybe you get like, I don't know,
N-
apple chips or something. Or
Apple chips.
or
What
some
is the
ki-
World Cup?
some kind
McDonald's is bad enough as it is, and
some
now they're
kind
doing
of
this.
sweet treat with like chips. What could you make chips out of? Like,
Potatoes.
You
Yeah, what-
can get
like fruit chips or something.
you can get like vegetable. You can get vegetable crisps. I bet you can get something similar.
Yeah.
Like chippy.
Mm.
Nutella, though, Italian invention, 1964, I believe.
Ferrero Rocher.
While on the topic of food and strange food,
Mm.
what did a woman claim? I think this is in America. She claimed in the past week that she was attacked by something.
A food?
Yeah, food stuff.
Mushrooms, I don't know.
Mushrooms.
Attacked by something.
Yeah.
I would say it's a sauce of some kind.
Yeah, you're quite close.
A banana.
No, it's. She claims she was attacked by her salad dressing. Divell McLean. She was hoping to make some dinner when the bottle, which she says was possessed, exploded. She told local TV channel Fox 19, "I heard pop, pop, pop. I looked up. It was possessed. It was going crazy. It was shooting up in the air to the side."
It could have just been some Rice Krispies if it was a pop pop pop. But, I can't imagine the salad dressing was possessed.
She said it sounded like a firecracker going off in the house, real loud. It was later confirmed that there was a bacteria in the product which was causing it to bubble up and spew uncontrollably.
Well,
Donald Trump is the bacteria in America at the moment, not anything else.
Yeah. She says...
Last week's news. Move on.
Yeah, so possessed food. Have you had any experiences of supernatural? No, nothing?
My mother
No
has.
ketchup, like, going crazy or...
No. My mum once claimed that when we were staying at our aunt's house near Newcastle, that she saw a child-like thing
Figure, yeah.
walk into a wardrobe.
Oh, right.
I reckon it was my brother. Just my actual brother, just climbing into a wardrobe.
Yeah.
Not really sure why he would, but
No, maybe.
I'm a non-believer
in the
in the supernatural.
I think
Yeah.
I think there's such things such as Ouija boards though, which you don't dabble with, do you? Because you go there and there's everybody here with us, and then things move, and then crazy things happen, and then you go into a mental home.
No,
Not
I don't.
speaking from personal experience, but you know that's what happens apparently.
No, I don't believe in paranormal activity. But when my great grandmother died, my granddad had bought some flowers, and they just wilted and never grew, and just were there. And then when she died, they started growing, and it was kind of one of those things where like it might have been a coincidence, but it was a
Nice coincidence.
yeah. Any other experiences you've had?
No.
Would you dabble with a Ouija board?
I would not. No.
No.
No, just probably not. No, but like I say, experiences though. One of my friends said that when she was a kid, she went to I think it was like a neighbour's house or something, and she would always go up to this wardrobe as a kid and be like, and they never knew what she was doing. And anyway, it turns out that the neighbours had a cat that died, and it always used to sit on top of the wardrobe, and to get it down, they would do and but she was a kid, like she didn't know what she was, like she was just doing it, like weird
Strange.
stuff, some weird
Yeah,
stuff.
you hear plenty of stories about it, but I don't know the explanations, but I'm positive that there's an explanation for all of it.
Yeah.
I think half the time I think people are just making up stories to get on the telly, get on the horror channels.
But I think while there isn't an explanation, you can't rule out the possibility.
You can't, but with the salad dressing, you know, it could have been anything. It could be, you know, pressure in the bottle, something called, you know, it happens.
I mean, it sounds like there was an explanation with that bacteria.
The
Yeah,
bacteria,
Oh yeah.
But she
they
was
said.
clearly senile by the sounds of it, so I mean, you know.
She was saying how it was a $3 bottle and it caused, I think he said it caused $2,500 of damage to her TV and her house and other stuff. So, but I don't know.
I just think that's quite funny, to be honest.
$3 bottle, $2,500 dollars of damage, not too bad. Okay, we've got two more talking points. I think we'll start with the more generic one and we'll end with the kind of funny one. The first one is that topic of marriage. Nice. I know we're students, we're a long way from thinking about stuff like that. But according to University of Utah sociologist Nicholas Wolfinger, marrying in your late 20s or early 30s reduces the chance of divorce. He says, however, he also found that the risk of divorce seems to go up for people who marry in their late 30s or beyond. Thoughts? Like, what's your, like, when you was a kid and growing up, like, you always thought you got married, what age were you thinking? Any ideas? Like,
late 20s, I think.
late 20s?
Yeah, I
so
agree. Maybe I always thought, 28, 30.
That's the area. I mean, there's the early marriages, isn't there, between the 18, 19-year-olds, you think, my God.
My
Yeah.
mum was married by that age.
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Fair, my
It's
to be-
fantastic.
to be fair,
I
my
love
mum
it.
was as
I
well.
think that's what we should all do.
Well, I think if it works, but I think it depends, because I think
Depend on
people
people, yeah.
who get married, you said people in the late 30s tend bigger chance of divorce. I get that, because
Yeah.
I think you get to that, people get to that point and think, right, I need to settle down, I need to be,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so they sort of rush a bit more.
Yeah.
But then, back at where I'm from, there were two people, 2 years younger than me, so I think at the time they were about 14 or 15, got engaged.
Wow.
Got engaged.
Wow.
I think they're still engaged. I have to say, I'm
Impressive.
intrigued to
That's a
see.
commitment.
See how it pans out.
It's a long engagement. I think they know that, but
Yeah.
I'll be intrigued to see if they actually go ahead and get married.
I think you need to maybe sometimes earlier marriages are successful in the sense that you grow with a person.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're older, you've
Yeah.
got your own life, you know who you are,
Yeah.
and it's sort of then your personalities clash.
Yeah, if you've known them for
True.
years, you sort of grow up together and then you're ready. Whereas I think certainly when you get later on, you've known them. I think the older you get, the shorter amount of time there is
Yeah.
before you
Yeah.
decide to pop the question. So I think
Yeah.
it can often lead to a few mistakes.
You guys can all be sociologists at the University of Utah because the researchers suggested that the reason for late 30s and beyond getting divorced is that they were reluctant to wed in the first place. They weren't eager. They weren't. It was just a suggestion that they didn't want to get married when they were
It's just
younger.
a pressure from
yeah.
society, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And even if they did get married out of their own free choice and they wanted to get married when they were older, maybe the suggestion is that because they left it late, they perhaps were just happy to be on their own,
Yeah,
and they were reluctant to in the first place. So that's the suggestion.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I always thought like people get married. Oh, it's normal to get married like 22, 23, 24. But when you realise when you get older and you go to university and you don't finish that till you're 21, then you could do a postgraduate, PhD, get a job. You think about things more seriously and take it a bit more.
Plenty of other things to worry about.
Yeah, a lot more things to worry about.
Actually, have somewhere to house you and your wife.
Yeah. And okay, I did say there's 2 more. There is one more before we get on to the final one, which is that Spotify, they've basically been told off a bit, and they've had to do a couple of tweaks to their desktop application because they've been found out. Reports from news site Ars Technica found that Spotify was writing up to 10 gigabytes of data an hour to their computers. Junk data was just from somewhere, for some reason was just being compiled on computers and taking up a lot of space.
I think it's quite poor, to be honest. I mean, you get a lot of arguments between people now. What's the best for streaming music? You've got Apple Music, you've got Spotify. Some people play it on YouTube or download it illegally, which you shouldn't do, of course. But I think it's quite shocking because you get a lot of people using Spotify and they pay a fair amount of money to use it.
Yeah.
And particularly nowadays, you've got memory on your device is actually quite precious, especially with every update that you need to install. It shrinks by the second. So I think Spotify need to sort themselves out if they're going to keep doing that.
Yeah, they have released a sort of fix for it, and I think it's been sorted now. But the concern was Ken Munro is a cybersecurity firm from the cybersecurity firm Pentest Partners, said it was a problem as an even error or lazy coding. But the problem with it that was kicking up a big fuss was that it was still happening even if music wasn't being played, if the app wasn't even on, if it was idle. Is it like Tom? Do you think it's obviously it is bad, but in terms of they're not even knowing about it because they're not using the app. A lot of things on apps and stuff are behind closed doors now. And
it's not good in terms of, I guess it is immoral, and it's people want their security and privacy, and if apps are performing when they don't want them to, it sort of does take away from that. And as we've said, memory is very precious, especially on certain devices. So I don't like the idea of an app taking up more memory by doing background things.
And like with Facebook and stuff, like Messenger has access to your email, your camera, microphone.
That's the way it's going nowadays, isn't it?
And with Facebook as well, they've got a bit of slap on the wrist this week, obviously, because of the whole US election. There were suggestions that fake news websites were popping up on Facebook and suggesting that Donald Trump was taken the election by storm, and there's some suggestion that it could have had an influence on the actual result of the election. And Facebook has now said they're striving to get rid of these fake news websites because they were promoting false news. So, interesting times for social media.
Yeah, but I do think you've got to take those sorts of things with a pinch of salt.
Agreed.
Because I think there were plenty of people who maybe weren't happy with the outcome, who were sort of clutching at straws, trying to find some way in which, it's wrong. Let's do something else. I mean, it's the same as when we had the petitions to have another vote about Brexit. I mean, it's never going to happen. I think people just need to get on with it, to be honest.
Isn't that gaining pace, though?
Well,
I've heard another Brexit vote.
No,
or there's something.
I don't think
there was something this today which has come out, which was that there was some leaked documents which suggesting that Brexit wasn't going to happen. They'd have enough staff to accommodate, to facilitate, to sort of oversee the admin side of things. But that's been denied by the
as you'd
government.
expect.
Well, it would be. They're not going to
they're not going to
say
say sorry. Yeah.
Well, last story for today. It's quite a fun one.
Right.
What has been built? The actual video for this was uploaded a few months ago now, but it's been picked up by the media and sort of mainstream media recently. What's been built for a cat to keep dogs away?
By a cat.
A
or
wall.
for a cat.
For a cat.
Buy a cat.
By a cat, yeah.
It wasn't a cat building
Very
it.
impressive if
A
that was the
sentry
case.
gun.
A sentry gun.
To be fair, it's quite close. You're on the wrong line.
What?
Lines. Yeah. It's
Oh.
not a weapon,
Oh.
but it's emulating
Is
in
it
some way.
some sort of protective shield or
A
protection?
wall.
No.
Just to go with the American theme.
Built
at the
a
moment.
wall.
Built
No.
a wall for the cat.
No, we'll see. There should be a video or a picture or both coming up.
Well, it's kind of a wall, isn't it?
Oh, is it a tank?
It's a T-34 tank made by a Russian.
Oh God. Let's hope that doesn't carry on in the future.
If the cats are driving tanks, what are the soldiers driving?
Cats.
There is a video for this, I do believe, to play for you guys. So if you want to see this in all its glory. The tank cost £180.76.
Looks like it's being built from Pellman, for goodness sake.
To be fair,
what's
to
going
him,
on there?
It took him 2 months to build in the evenings.
2 months?
It's a scale model, and it's the work of engineer Ivan Veriasov, who says it's constructed for animals to have some fun.
I think it looks quite cool.
Does it work? I mean,
Yeah,
is
it's
it
remote controlled.
So the cats know the.
So the cat gets inside, and then you can remote control it.
I
and it
thought
drives
like the
around.
cat, there was
The
little
cat
pedals, and the
controlled it.
cat would walk on certain things and make it move. Well,
No.
You said for cats to have fun.
Yeah.
I have to say I don't remember the last time I saw cats wanting to reenact their favourite wars.
Saving
battles,
Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan, exactly.
and cats will be happy with a piece of string. To be honest with you, like
It does look quite like professionally made, and it is made just by him.
It's a tank for a cat.
It looks quite good
Yeah.
though. Like
But who decided?
he said he didn't
decided
want to
that
buy
that was
a cheap
necessary?
rubbish thing, and he wants to build a tank.
he
for
went
his
all
cat.
out.
He
Fair
didn't want
enough.
to buy a cheap rubbish thing. He made one. I mean,
It
what
wasn't
is-
cheap though. That was the thing.
£180.64.
No, looks like it's been made from polystyrene, for goodness sake. But
I have to say, I think if you've got £180 to spend making a tank for your cat, you
Yeah.
need to find something else to do with your spare time.
saying that though, I mean, just to come back at your point, Tom, how do you know that cat's happy playing with its bowler string? It might be thinking, oh, I want a tank.
Me and cats, we know each other. I know the cat. I know the cat's happy to play. If you play with some string with it. Nah, cats are cool. I love cats.
Yeah.
Right.
But-
What do you not? Do you not?
No,
You
I mean,
I'm not a cat person. I prefer dogs.
I'm
yeah,
a dog person
dog
too.
person.
Oh, so I'm in the
dog will put a
minority
bigger
here.
tank. The dog will put a bigger tank.
You can give a dog a
Um,
kennel and they're perfectly happy. They don't move. They don't cost 180. Well, they can do, but you don't have to spend £180 on one. You don't need. I have to say, I've not even debated the idea of making a tank for my dog.
Yeah.
It'd be a bit more expensive than £180, though. Probably a bit bigger as well.
Slightly bigger, yeah.
Just a bit.
Unless you had like a little chihuahua or something.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think I prefer a
Infiltrate
cat to a
the
chihuahua.
cat's tanks and just.
Yeah.
I think I'll just carry on throwing a stick.
Yeah.
from the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, from cats, koalas, and deers to planes, suitcases, and tanks, we've had a lot to talk about this week. So thank you to Johnny, Henry, and Tom.
Thank you.
And I'm JL. See you again next week on LA101.